They laughed. My parents, my brother, his flawless wife, the rest of our impeccably dressed family, all laughing together like a perfectly synchronized chorus. I stood there with my glass of cheap champagne, the family failure, while my father announced loud enough for the caterers to hear. Our younger son's been struggling a bit. Had to borrow from us again. But don't worry, he'll learn responsibility one day. The laughter that followed stung, a slap that kept echoing. Even my mother smirked, adding, "Not everyone can be like Daniel. Successful, disciplined, debt-free." They always did this. Public humiliation dressed as humor. But that night, I didn't interrupt. I smiled, nodded, and sipped slowly because I knew something they didn't. Their laughter had an expiration date. Exactly 5 minutes. Daniel was the golden boy, their favorite since childhood. When I got B's, he got trophies. When I spoke, no one listened. When he stumbled, it was called learning. When I did, it was proof. I used to admire him. I even helped him build his company. Late nights, unpaid work, quiet loyalty. Until one day, the truth revealed itself. It was a Friday night. Daniel had left his laptop at my place after a meeting. He'd been distant for weeks, tense, agitated. I assumed stress. Curiosity got the better of me. I opened the device. One folder, hidden, password protected. I guessed it on the first try, Mom's birthday. Inside were spreadsheets, debt schedules, investor letters, legal threats. His successful company wasn't profitable. It was collapsing. Millions in debt, unpaid taxes, lawsuits pending. Half of it guaranteed by our parents' assets. Daniel wasn't responsible. He was desperate. I closed the laptop and sat in silence. Not anger. Not pity. Clarity. For months, I stayed quiet. I repaid every cent I'd borrowed from our parents. I worked in silence, consulting for companies Daniel had once mocked me for joining. I made real money, quietly, steadily. And I waited. When the invitation came for Mom's birthday party, a grand family event as usual, I knew it was time. I dressed simply. No designer suit, no showy pretension, just a calm expression and a loaded truth. Back at the party, 5 minutes into their laughter, I set my glass down. The sound cut through the noise. All eyes turned. I looked at my mother first. "You're right," I said softly. "Daniel is responsible. He's been very responsible for your finances." The laughter stalled. My father frowned. "What does that mean?" I turned to Daniel. "Tell them about the bank letters, Danny. Or should I?" His face drained of color, like a secret leaking out. "What are you talking about?" he stammered. "Your company's debt. The liens on Mom and Dad's house, the unpaid taxes, the investors' threatening lawsuits." Shall I continue? Murmurs spread across the room. My uncle shifted uncomfortably. My mother's hand trembled around her glass. I reached into my jacket and pulled out neatly folded copies, documents I'd printed from his hidden folder. I laid them beside the birthday cake. $5 million in debt, I said quietly. And you've been covering it up for a year, using the family trust as collateral. My father snatched the papers, eyes widening with each line. My mother's lips parted, silent. The room was utterly quiet. Daniel tried to speak. "You hacked my..." I cut him off. "You used their money, their names, and their trust. You didn't even have the decency to tell them. But sure, tell everyone again how successful you are." He lunged at me, but my father stopped him. "Is this true?" he demanded. Daniel froze. His silence was confession. The laughter was gone. Every eye in the room turned to him. The golden boy melting under the spotlight he'd built himself. 5 minutes. That's all their laughter lasted. Later that night, I stood on the balcony as chaos unfolded inside. Arguments, accusations, the sound of betrayal finally speaking. My mother sobbed. My father raged. Daniel begged. I felt no joy, only release. He'd always craved control. Tonight, I gave him exactly that, control over his own downfall. Before leaving, I said one last thing to my father. "You don't have to worry about me anymore. I don't need your money. I invested early in the companies Daniel rejected. That's how I repaid you. That's why I'll never borrow again." He didn't respond, just nodded, hollowed by truth. As I walked out, I heard Daniel shout my name. His voice cracked. "You ruined me." I didn't turn. "No," I said, just loud enough for him to hear. "You did that yourself. I just gave everyone the honesty they deserved."